we're starting
with the drama.
with the drama.
Hi guys, I'm back here with my friend Hannah, and the two of us have started to buddy read Anna Karenina, because this beauty has been on both of our TBR lists for forever.
Forever, yeah.
So we thought, yeah, let's just read it together so we have a bit more motivation to get through this literal brick of 1,200 pages. I think my edition has 1,000.
I think mine has 800 something.
Yeah. So yeah, we started this and we thought that we're gonna split our talks to like chat about this in the parts, because Anna Karenina is parted into I think 8 parts.
Yes, 8 parts.
Yeah, 8 parts. So yeah, we've now both read the first part and are ready to discuss what's been happening. I think like my first thought was just like the audacity
Oh yeah.
of men.
The first sentence already, I was like, okay, I see where this is going. Interesting.
Maybe let's also say this. This is gonna be a spoiler video. We're gonna spoiler the book. We wanna actually chat about what's happening. Before we get into the contents, it's like so confusing how every person in this book has 3 different names.
Yes. That's an issue I have too. Plus, while reading, I think it's really hard to always keep the names. I don't know if your edition has this. My edition actually has a character sheet.
Ooh, that's
where
helpful. I don't
you
know
can,
if mine
for
has
example,
this.
I was confused who Princess is.
Princess?
Yeah, Princess. There's the name, the princess said blah blah blah. And I was like, who the fuck is the princess?
Oh wait, that's Kitty, right? Isn't Kitty
No,
the
that
princess?
is Dolly, aka Dasha Dashenka, aka the woman who got cheated on.
Oh wait, I think she's not called the princess in my edition.
Oh, okay, my edition she's called the
So
princess.
you have even more names for the same
Yeah, I have the
people.
Oblonsky, it's Prince Stepan
Oh,
Arkadyevich.
he's not a prince in my edition.
And I was like, what are we talking about? Princess and prince?
It's like, what?
Okay, it's good to know. But I have this whole character
Yeah.
sheet, which is quite helpful.
No, I don't think I have one. No, I don't have a character sheet.
Okay, I sent you mine. Maybe that helps.
Would be helpful, I think. What this reminded me of is like why I do actually love to read classics, because it's just gossip.
Yeah, it's true. I was like,
It's just gossip.
to be honest, I still don't know what the storyline is gonna be.
Yeah, no, same.
But I feel like I really enjoy being in those conversations. And just sitting there and being like, okay, I get the drama, okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's so, like, it's really interesting. It feels like you are sitting there with them. Drama in every aspect of every person's life.
It feels like you're a gossip girl.
Yeah.
We start out with getting to know Stepan, who cheated on his wife, or like still is cheating on his wife.
He
as
has
far
a
as I
mistress.
understood.
And he's
He has
not
a mistress.
seeing the
and-
issue.
Yeah, he's not seeing the issue with it. He's like, yeah, well, I don't love my wife anymore, but we're married and I do love her, so I don't want to leave her and I want her to be happy with me having a mistress.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what the fuck?
And you would think, okay, Dolly, she's like heartbroken,
Yeah.
but she also has the same monologue as he does, but I love my man and I want to stay with him because we have kids, but at the same time I don't want to be with him. We're in this situation, we have a really classic picture of a marriage.
Of course. I mean, we cannot forget we're sitting here in 2024 discussing this, while this was happening in like 1890.
Yeah.
So I think it was published in 1870 something, right?
1873.
1873, yeah.
I'm usually really critic of framing women in these times, aka Dracula, for example.
Oh yeah.
But somehow, do you want to join? Somehow I don't mind it, because I think Dolly gives us one of the best monologues all over the first part, because she is in such a feud with herself.
Yeah.
And I think, for me, I'm like, girl, leave him. But at the same time, I'm really interested in her thoughts and what she's thinking. So far, maybe it will change. So far, I don't mind the classical thinking.
Yeah. I just think it's so crazy that this woman has 5 kids with him.
Right.
And had 2 more babies that didn't survive, maybe childbirth or young age or whatever. Because in the beginning it says that she's had 7 kids, 5 of them still alive.
Yeah.
Which was like, whoa.
I was like, wow, that's a woman.
That's a woman. And they're like, what, 30 something, right? I know Levin is like 32 or 35 or something. And I don't think he's much younger than Stepan and his wife. Yeah. And also there was no preconcepted what? There was no birth control.
True.
There was no birth control, so she probably just got pregnant as soon as the baby was out, you know? Like,
oh yeah, she...
One baby out,
she
wait
produced children.
She's pregnant again. And speaking of Levin, like when he was introduced and the way he was talking about Kitty, or Katya, or however you want to call her.
She's called...
The father called her Katya at one point, but most of the time she was called Kitty.
Yeah,
in my edition.
Most of the time she was called Kitty, yes.
Yeah. So the way he was talking about Kitty, I was like, oh my god, that's so cute. Like, I stan him and he's like a good one. And then there was the age gap.
Yeah.
Kitty is 18 and he is like 34 or whatever.
But I think this is happening so quietly with the age gaps. I feel like it's not like looked at all.
That's true.
I had to reread it and I was like, did I get that right?
Yeah, same.
And then no one talked about it again. I was like, okay, so it's again normal, kind of.
Yeah, I guess it was normal, right? It was like women, as soon as they were old enough, they were introduced to the marriage market.
Yeah, I think 18 is quite low.
We're just trying to secure a good match, like a wealthy husband done. Because they are from that like society level where it's a bit more money.
Yeah, you
money
can
is
tell
everything.
they are all rich.
They're all rich, exactly. And they all go to those balls and like everything.
That was fun.
That was fun, yeah. But yeah, first I was like, oh, Levin, he's so cute. Like the sun quote, that was...
yeah.
Did you tab it by any chance? Because I didn't have tabs with me. But I thought that was so cute. I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But yeah, and then we get to know Vronsky. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, Kitty, I get you. I get you. Like, what do we want with Levin, who literally watched you grow up, and the feelings you have for him? That's not love in a romantic way. That's love in a you're my uncle way. Yeah,
like her love to Levin seemed more like
paternal,
family,
kind of.
And like a really good friend, close friend.
Yeah.
I think Tolstoy has a really great way of describing, okay, this is family love, and like we're close.
It's platonic love.
Yes, and then he has a way of describing when someone is really in love.
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
true.
Oh wow, that sounds like totally different.
The way he described Levin's passion for Kitty, like not even in a sexual way, it was so romantic. And like he was burning with love for this woman. Yeah. I felt so bad for him when she turned him down.
Yeah.
But like it was necessary. And then Vronsky goes and it was so sad. So what happens is Kitty is like from Stepan's and Dolly's family tree. I think it's the sister-in-law, because Dolly is the older sister of Kitty. Yes, Dolly is the oldest sister. Yeah. Yeah. Dolly is the big sister of Kitty, and Stepan is Dolly's husband, the cheater. The cheater. And because he's cheating on his wife, and his wife is not talking to him, and the household is in danger, as they basically said it, that because it's so frivolous that the family life isn't happy and perfect, because in this societal place they're set in, it's like a big no-no when there's like issues at home. Yeah. So Stepan wants to fix it without actually giving up his mistress. And so he invites his sister to come over and fix basically what's been happening between him and his wife or make his wife forgive him, basically.
Yeah, he kind of wants his sister to talk his wife out of leaving him.
Yeah, exactly. And at the same time, Kitty, who is his sister-in-law, just got introduced to like society and like the marriage market, and the mother really, really wants to secure her like a good match. And it feels like the way you read it, it feels like there's so much pressure behind it that she has to marry in like the next few months, or else something horrible will happen, or like she's an old spinster right away if she doesn't marry in her first year of being in the society. And she has like two people yawning for her, which first one is Levin, who is a friend of Stepan and who's like fully in love with this woman, but he lives in like the countryside and is a bit more of like a country landlord kind of dude, and is not as well recognized in the city. And the mother also just really doesn't want this match for Kitty, and Kitty also, she has more of like godfather, paternal, platonic love for him, and decides to turn him down when he actually does propose to her.
But she appreciates him a lot. I think
she appreciates him
you
a
can
lot.
tell that, I think, with every woman in this book that we got introduced so far, they all appreciate the love they get.
Yeah.
They're not disrespectful or anything. They're all considering, oh, am I in love with this man?
Yeah.
Am I not? So it's a lot of women monologues.
It's true.
Kind of trying to find out, do I love him?
I was also a little bit surprised on how much time to speak the women do get already.
Yes.
Like, I was kind of prepared for it to be more focused on the men. I mean, okay, still, when the women are talking, they are talking about men. But they do get a lot of time to speak.
Definitely, they get, like, the chapters are quite short, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like every chapter has, like, a different topic. So it's not like, let's continue chapter 4's topic into chapter 5. They're really taking time to talk about something, and then it's just them. Yeah. And it's just the woman, and then we get over. Or, like, we're going back to the ball. Yeah. And it's, again, another talk with women. I think that's really well balanced.
I thought so too, and I thought the inner life of women were actually not portrayed too stereotypical. I thought it was quite well thought out. But yeah, and then there's this other guy who is like trying for Kitty, but he's not actually, like, he just wants to have a bit of fun with her. Like, he dances a lot with her on balls, and he comes visit her at the family home, and Kitty and her mother do think that he is just waiting basically for the right moment to propose, and that he will definitely propose to Kitty. And I think he was maybe leaning towards it, because there was like one short monologue of him, or like an inner monologue of him, where he was talking about how the feeling is growing warmer to him, and how he's like more and more appreciating Kitty. And then Miss Anna Karenina arrives.
Yeah, well, she's not called Anna Karenina yet.
No, she's just called Anna yet.
Anna, and her name
Anna
is Arkadevna?
Arkadevna? Yeah, that could be. I think it was something else though. It was something of her husband.
She has many names.
Yeah, she has. It's honestly, guys, it's so confusing. Every one of these characters has so many names.
She's basically also Princess Oblonsky.
Yes.
Her brother is Prince Stepan Oblonsky.
Yeah.
And here she's called as Anna Arkadevna Karenina.
From the beginning on, we know that Anna is married. She has a husband, but she comes to town to fix her brother's marriage.
Yes.
She also manages to do so, which is weird on its own.
But I feel like, she kind of manages to do so, but I feel like she did not entirely try to talk Dolly out of it.
Not from the beginning.
I feel like she quite well understood what the issue is.
Yeah.
But it definitely had a bad taste.
Yeah, it did have a bad taste, yeah.
Maybe you should even though it's your brother, but girls support girls.
Yeah, no, it did have a bad taste to it. Like, she came into the conversation and was like, I will not talk you into forgiving him, and I will not pressure you, and I'm just here to listen and to understand you, and believe me, I understand more than you think, which she already teasered that she might have had a similar experience. We don't know yet. Too.
I think it's going to, maybe it's going to lead into like a storyline that this is normal.
Probably.
That after a few years, your husband probably gets a mistress that is younger, more fun, has no children. I feel like this is going to reoccur. Yeah, I think maybe it's also going to be a bonding moment. We don't know. I think Tolstoy made it quite clear that Anna definitely has similar experience.
Definitely teasered that she has a similar experience. And then after listening to Dolly and being like, yeah, I get it, and it's horrible, and you have every right to feel your way, and like validating her feelings, she then goes, but forgive him. And then Dolly's like, but I can't.
Yeah.
The next day, she has forgiven him. So it's like,
you tried.
You tried.
I was a little bit mad that she forgave him. Of course, I expected it.
Yeah.
I was not surprised, but I was kind of mad, especially after she held. Perfect. I found the page immediately. She had this monologue with a friend, or I don't know, but she said, I think of the children, and so I'll do anything in the world to save them, but I don't know how I can best save them, by taking them away from their father, or by leaving them with a depraved father. Yes, depraved. Well, tell me after, what's happened? Is it possible for us to live together? Is it possible? Tell me, is it possible? And I feel like she's having all these conversations with herself and her friends, and I'm like, yeah, you're getting there. And then it's like, yeah, but I have to forgive him.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, oh, girl.
I also do think that religion still plays a role.
Yes.
Because it was also like religion is quite in the focus as well of the story.
It is, yeah.
And so forgiveness also had something to do with like following God's rule to forgive.
She also prays a lot.
She prays a lot.
She's a lot of like,
they all
God
pray
this,
a lot.
God there, and then Lord save me, and I'm like, okay.
They all pray a lot, that's true. No, but we were talking about Vronsky. Vronsky is the second dude trying for Kitty's hand, or like, kind of trying.
Yeah, and he's not a bad man.
He's not a bad guy.
His mother is the countess.
Exactly, and he's from a good house. Yeah. He's the count, and he's also in, I think, the military.
Yeah, he has...
and has a quite good position there as well, and he's like a nice dude. But he also says that he is not in for marriage yet.
Yeah.
And even though Kitty grew warmer to him and he was kind of getting used to this feeling of domestic kind of life, he doesn't want to marry yet. And then Anna comes into the picture.
I wonder how old he is.
Yeah, true. I know he's younger than Levin.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of in between the lines, that he's a bit younger, because the mother was like, I think she even said he's younger and prettier or something. He's definitely still older than Kitty, but he's probably like 26 or something.
And he does not have pressure at all
to
marry.
Like he doesn't have the pressure yet to settle down and to marry, and he doesn't feel it at all. Yeah. So Anna arrives by train in the city with Vronsky's mom. So Vronsky has to be at the train station with Stepan as well, because Stepan's picking up his sister and Vronsky's picking up his mom. So that leads to their first meeting, and it kind of is love on first sight, or at least a big crush on first sight, because when they meet in the train station, he like fully head over heels falls for Anna, and Anna already has some, well...
She's interested.
She's interested in him. I wouldn't say she's fallen, but she's interested.
She's definitely interested in him, and when we first meet her, we are not getting a lot of her character. We are more getting like this voyeurism kind of look from everyone else being
exactly.
totally obsessed with her.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes her this mysterious woman.
Yeah.
She's extremely gorgeous, and something about her face and her posture and her movement is so incredible that you have to fall in love with her.
Yeah, totally. So we get this look of everyone else, of Anna, and everyone's kind of in love with her, but Vronsky definitely hit the ground running. And that's where things kind of take their turn, and we are already like, oh no. Kitty turned down Levin and is now hoping for Vronsky's proposal and basically just waiting for it. And then Anna arrives in the city, and we already know, okay, Vronsky is done with Kitty as soon as he saw Anna. You're kind of still hoping that he will come around, but he did not so far. And then there's a ball, I think like 2 days after. The Stepan and Dolly kind of made things out to be good again, and Anna arrived in the city and everything, and there's a ball and everyone's attending, and one of the first like special dances from Kitty's dance card is already reserved for Vronsky.
Yeah, she says no to, I think, 3
No,
or
that's a
4.
different dance. That's a different dance.
Oh.
So there were opening dances, and she did that with the like orchestra master or whoever, like the special dude from the ball. And then there was like a different kind of dance that she had reserved for Vronsky, and they also did that dance together. Anna's at the ball as well, and Vronsky is swooning over her and like basically following her around like a little.
Yeah, the way they describe the dance with them, and I'm like, okay.
There is tension in the room. And they did this dance together that she had reserved for him, but Kitty already described this dance that they did, like he wasn't looking at her like he used to, and they weren't really chatting while they danced, and normally he would have right away, like while that first dance was happening, asked her to dance like one of the most important dances at this ball, but he did not. And as the evening continues, Kitty turns down, I think, 3 or 4 men.
Yeah, she turned quite a lot of men down.
Quite a lot of men down for this special dance, because she was still hoping for Vronsky to come up to her and ask her for this dance, but he did not. And turns out he was doing this special dance with Anna.
Yeah.
That broke Kitty's heart, and Kitty couldn't sit this one special dance out because apparently it's like a little bit scandalous when, as a very pretty young woman that a lot of men adore, you're not dancing this dance because no one's.
They talk quite a lot about this dance, particularly.
They talked a lot about this particular dance.
It's really important.
Exactly.
Somehow.
And actually, Kitty goes ahead and tells her mom she's not feeling well, to go home and cry her little eyes out.
Yeah.
Which was so sad.
And then doesn't she have like kind of this feud with herself if it was a good idea to turn Levin down?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She right away starts questioning if it was a good decision to turn down Levin, which gives the reader really the impression that she's under so much pressure to find a husband and to marry, and like, girl, you're 18.
Yeah, but it also seems like this marriage has to happen in this particular circle.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how many more characters are going to be introduced to us, but it really felt like, okay, there are practically 3 men, and you have to choose.
One of them it is.
And if you say no to all of them, you're going to die.
You're going to be an old spinster.
It really seems like, okay, she has to choose from this particular circle, because it's obviously also like these rich-ass men, and
and like these rich-ass families.
Yeah, and having great positions
in the middle of Moscow. It was Moscow, right?
Yeah, it's Moscow. I think Anna came from Petersburg.
St. Petersburg, yeah. And Vronsky actually also lives in St. Petersburg.
I don't want to know how she feels in her inner
mind.
Yeah,
it has to be horrible. And also there's this whole discussion of how it's not normal anymore for marriages to be arranged by the parents, which I thought was so interesting that this change already happened in like 1870, 1880.
Yeah.
Because they talk a lot about like the mother and the father of Kitty really argue, because apparently Kitty's mom is exceptionally embarrassing to the entire family, that she is trying to meddle in Kitty's love affairs, because it's not like, it's not a good look anymore to arrange a marriage for your daughter, but at the same time it's also not a good look to just let them do their thing and marry for love entirely.
It's a bit confusing. I think it's like this middle stage.
It was fully confusing. Yeah,
letting
it was
your
like,
children go, but still having certain power over it.
Basically, the parents still have to very much approve.
Yeah.
But like, they're not allowed to like present you someone. But the way that Kitty's mom was arranging for certain people to come to their house and to like be presented to Kitty was already seen as too much meddling by the father. And the mother has a monologue where she tells the reader how confusing it is and how she's how she feels so helpless because she doesn't know what's right to do. Like, she can't find her daughter a match, but she can't also just let her daughter go and do it for herself. And
she's quite judgy on that.
She's
like, yeah, Levin is this and this person, and Vronsky is this and that person. So she's still kind of like, you can tell it's quite hard for her not to interfere too much.
She tries to tell that she feels fully overwhelmed with the situation because she's not allowed to help, but she needs to help. But she's also not allowed to not help. Yeah. So it's very confusing, and that this is just the state of change in society when parents don't choose your partner anymore. But it wasn't fully acceptable for like this high social class to just let the kids do it themselves.
Society is actually a good point. In this book, you really get to know society in this class to this time. Yeah. I think it's really interesting to listen to the discussions, if it's not about men. But if the men talk, it's quite interesting to try to understand, okay, how's the military? How is working in companies? How do they celebrate? And there was a scene where they were dining together. I think that was such a fun scene. I could really imagine them sitting there drinking, smoking, and it's all fun and games, and then they talk about some important things. You really get to know the society.
Yeah, and also the politics as well, because they were talking a lot about change in politics and how to deal with that, and how maybe in other countries the people were taking a bit more of a stand than they do in Russia, because in Russia it's a bit more passive. Yeah, like all of it, and it's quite interesting that they put so much. Oh, that Tolstoy, not they, it's not the characters themselves. That Tolstoy put so much information about Russia, politics, but also philosophy. He put so much value into this story of gossip.
Yeah, he does.
Which makes it so interesting to read.
He's a little gossip girl.
But yeah, after the ball, Kitty is totally heartbroken.
She is.
And Vronsky is 100% in love with Anna.
Yeah.
And Anna decides that because at the ball she was feeling a lot toward Vronsky, she was feeling very guilty about how she felt when he was around, and her heart was beating faster and she was blushing, and like all these typical I have a big old crush were popping up, and she felt very guilty about it, so she decided to very rushedly leave the city the next day and go back to St. Petersburg to her husband and her son, and was very excited to see her son as well, because she has a little 8-year-old boy, and it was the first time that she left him for more than like a few hours.
She was like, oh my god, I left my baby, and it's like, you were gone for one day.
Yeah.
My book, please. Thank you very much.
I have a little tiger here. I don't know if you can see her on camera.
She's the book cat.
She's the book cat. But yeah, and then Vronsky actually goes ahead and follows Anna to St. Petersburg. They're on the same train.
Yes.
And they actually also get to meet on the train, which brings Anna a lot of confusion again.
But it felt like he was trying to hide somehow.
He was kind of trying to hide from her.
And then when she saw him,
she had to go outside because she was so overwhelmed by all of her feelings, because she couldn't stop thinking about him and all of this. She couldn't concentrate on reading because she was just thinking about Vronsky. Yeah. So she had to go outside, like on the train. You were somehow able to go outside and like.
I think there's like a little balcony thingy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they had like these balconies on the back of the trains, like these old carriage trains.
Exactly.
Yeah, And she went outside to like cool down, and who's outside? Wronski's outside.
Surprise, surprise.
And he basically confesses to her that he's in love with her.
Yeah. But he does not know that she's married, does he? I felt
he does.
But I felt like, for me, it seemed like he did not quite know, or maybe he kind of like tried to ignore the fact that she's actually married.
Yeah.
For me, it felt like when he saw her and the husband and the child.
The child wasn't at
the husband. He was so. For me, he came across so shocked and confused, and I was like, did he not know that she was married?
Maybe he didn't.
But I don't know.
I thought he knew, because like everyone knew, and he was like talking to Stepan and like everyone. So
yeah, but it wasn't like
clear that she's married.
For me, it would have made sense that he knew if he had like, but she's married. I don't know what to do, but it never came. It never came up. He was just like, I'm in love with her. I have to tell her. I'm so in love with her, and I was like, okay,
but she's married.
She's married. Don't you want to think about that once? So I was I was like, maybe he just ignored it.
I didn't even like acknowledge that he not had a single thought about her being married.
Exactly, and I was like,
but he didn't.
Does he know? Does he not know? Maybe he's ignoring it.
Maybe he's ignoring it. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, true. He might not have known, actually.
He's like, oh, hello, who are you?
But yeah, he followed her to St. Petersburg, and at the station, he sees her with her husband, and also his inner monologue is already a bit sassy, because he like bows to her and her husband, but in his thoughts, he's like, he actually just bowed to Anna, and it's her husband's choice to acknowledge that bow for him or not. He was like, bitch, I'm not bowing for you.
He's quite... It's not his woman.
Yeah.
But he acts like it is hers. Like, he's the only one who's loving her.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
And the husband was rather frosty towards him as well. And Anna was like, she did a quick introduction, and he was like, ah, okay. And kept talking to Anna, basically like, okay, you're done here, go. And he proceeds to invite himself to dinner.
Yeah.
Into their home.
He's like, can I join?
And the husband's like, okay, fine, we accept people on Mondays, bye now. And turns again
I think
to
that was
Anna.
Quite funny too.
That was quite funny, actually.
On Mondays. I was like, okay, do I have to fill out a form or something if I can come?
But then again, when it was about the men wanting to talk about Kitty, the mother was also like, we accept on Tuesdays.
Yeah, true.
So I think it's like a thing that you only get visitors on on certain days.
Maybe a society thing again.
Yeah, it's a society thing again, I think. So yeah, that was quite funny actually. And then Anna proceeds to have a bit of like guilty feelings.
Yeah, she's really confused. Yeah. And now I think about it, if we said that maybe, like when she said to Dolly, I understand you. Yeah. Maybe she is actually the mistress.
Oh wow.
Not the mistress of her brother, obviously.
No.
But maybe she kind of knows about this feeling and this situation. Maybe she is a cheater.
Maybe.
Because I still wonder what will this story be about if it's called Anna Karenina.
Like, it's definitely about her.
And I was wondering, maybe because also, like, her husband was so cold towards Wronski.
Yeah. He was very loving towards her. Like, he was like, I missed you so much.
Yeah,
and
but maybe she did cheat or have
maybe.
What is a mistress for a man? Is it also a mistress? No.
A male mistress?
A male mistress. A male hoe.
That's like that's like one of those things again this is just a word for women.
Yeah, but it's okay. Like, definitely, maybe she had a mistress. You
maybe
never
she
know.
Had a mistress.
What's to come Tolstoy?
Maybe
Please
it's
surprise
gay.
us. No, but I think maybe she is the person that cheated.
Yeah, that could be. I was thinking more about like how could this develop, because this book is called Anna Karenina. It's about her. We've just gotten introduced to her. That maybe her husband did have a mistress.
Could also be.
And she's like, okay, now I met this guy who I really like, and if he's having sleepovers with other women. Why can't I?
Yeah, true.
And then
That could also be
then it's
interesting.
gonna develop into like her as well just having an affair. What's going on?
Repositioning. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see what is going to happen in the future of this book.
Yeah.
I feel like the first part was really introducing everybody and taking the reader into the story.
setting.
Being like, okay, so we have those people, they are related, they are married, they are cheating, blah, blah, blah.
They are cheating!
And I think now that we have everything, I think it's gonna really close into the storyline. I think part 2 still will not entirely show us in which direction this book will go, but I feel like it's going to tighten a bit up and maybe showcase the most important characters a bit more closely.
Actually, I also read that this was published in 3 books originally.
Oh wow!
Like he wrote 3 different books, split up, and we're reading it as one.
As one. I don't think you can actually buy
chunk.
this as one. It's 3 books. I think.
No, I don't think it's in the original publishing anymore. Something I've noticed about a lot of classics, anyways, that the chapters tend to be so much shorter, which I think has to do with the way they were published, because most classics were published weekly in newspapers, right?
True.
So they had to probably adhere to like a column space, and had like a preset of maximum words that they could use. So the chapters are a lot shorter, but that also gives them more space with like lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of small chapters to like expand the stories.
Exactly. I feel like even though for me some chapters were only 1 page or 2 pages, I think the maximum was 5.
Yeah.
They were detailed as hell.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do have to say,
it's like a magic with words.
Sometimes with books I have this feeling, I'm like, oh, I don't care, honey. We're in a restaurant. You don't have to explain to me that the wall is brick wall and they have a nice balcony where you can sit and eat. But
and
I feel
one
like
chair is chipped.
Exactly. But in this case, I know it's not original language, but the translation also had a really good way of putting words together.
And like picking the details.
Exactly, and that helped amazingly imagining where I am.
Yeah.
Of course, maybe I'm imagining it not in a way Tolstoy would have loved, but for me I think it's really easy to create a picture while reading.
Yeah. Without him being too detailed, but also without him being, like, without us feeling like, where the fuck are we?
Yeah. And I think this has a lot to do with the characters.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He gives every character an even amount of introduction, space, development.
And also the way that they are noticing their surroundings was so fitting for the characters already. Like, it wasn't like there was a main narrator, but whenever we switched, like, the viewpoint, it also switched what people described.
Yes.
For example, Levin, he described really how busy everything is and how in Moscow he doesn't feel perfectly comfortable because he's from the countryside. And for Stepan, for example, he didn't describe, like, Moscow really at all because it's his hometown and he's so used to it. So he only describes, like, the surroundings where he's, like, really currently at, like his workplace, his home, his... It's more like a from and to, and not like the general atmosphere, because he's so... It's his setting. Yeah. Yeah.
And Vronsky, for example, I think he had a lot of fun scenes.
Oh yeah.
Like, really glamorous.
Fun young dude.
Exactly, and I think... Honestly, I can now already understand, even though we just read 1 part, why people appreciate Tolstoy's writing style.
Definitely.
I would love to know and would love to be able to read in original language. I have that with Nabokov too. I would love to read it. But I hope that the English or even the German version comes close
same.
to his writing style, because I think it's really incredible.
Alright, so I'm very excited on where this one will take us.
Yeah.
And looking back at how much we've talked about the first part, I think we will make one video
For each part.
For each part.
Yeah.
So if you are excited to keep listening to us blabbing about 19th century gossip, you're very welcome to come watch the next video in, I don't know, probably 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Really depends on time, schedule, motivation.
Because I'm working full time. You're in an internship right now and studying as well. So follow along for more 1800s.
No, 1900s.
No, 19th century, but 1800s.
No.
No?
No. But I feel like it's different. Join us from a book from 1870. That was a good.
Join us for more 19th century gossip. Bye!